This is the Nightshade Cult, a podcast macabre.
We bid you welcome, enter freely and of your own will.
I'm Nick Grimm.
And I'm David Graves.
And we'll be your horror hosts for this dissection of Danny Boyle's 2002 post-apocalyptic survival horror, 28 Days Later.
Good evening.
I haven't seen this movie in 20 years, or thereabouts.
I hadn't seen this movie ever, so this was the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you had never seen this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was really looking forward to this because it was always on my list of like, oh, I should see that. That seems cool.
Yeah, and it's been unavailable for at least a few years. Mm-hmm. Since because it's weird because it's a Sony Fox Searchlight collaboration, and then Disney bought Fox, and so the rights have been complicated, and so it just hasn't been out there for the last few years.
Yeah, and this I thought this was an independent movie when I started watching it. I was like, wow, this looks very like indie, but it's not, but it was made on a shoestring budget, $8 million, and they intentionally used consumer grade electronics to film it.
Yeah, you notice that right away. It's shot on digital video. It's 480p, I think. Yeah, which is, it's not even the lowest level of what we call HD. So it is. It's raw and rugged. Like, it's very gritty looking.
That was a mistake because it doesn't age well. Like, I like old movies on film. They look better than this.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll get more into it as we discuss this, but I think it suits the subject matter and
it's like listening to raw black metal.
Yes.
Intentionally so. Yeah.
And there's certain shots that a better camera wouldn't have done because of the way images distort and things like that. So it's interesting, but like, you immediately are struck with like, this looks like a skateboarding video from the early 2000s.
Yeah, this looked like an early YouTube thing. Like, it's like when you look something up and you're like,
is there a better video?
16 years ago, you're like, shit, people were making videos about this 16 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a better quality video of this? Let me look for another source. And you're like, they all look like this?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, no, I had not seen this. I saw it probably original theatrical run and then maybe once at home, and then have not been back to it. And you go, there's just a few things like right off the bat, like, oh, Walking Dead stole everything from this.
It really felt Walking Dead. Like, there are almost shots stolen from this movie in Walking Dead. Like, when Rick is walking through the city and it's empty and all this stuff, and that's cool because it looks really neat. But this movie was a really big success compared to its budget. Like, $8 million into $84 million. That's how he gets extra movies. That's how this guy becomes a good boy. Yeah,
and it was very much reinvigorated Danny Boyle's career because he had a big bomb with it's called The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio. That movie tanked for him.
I did see that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
So, and that's where he begins this relationship with Alex Garland, the writer, because Alex Garland wrote the novel The Beach, although he did not write the screenplay.
Yeah,
and so that's kind of where that connection, I think, happens. But yeah, so this is the beginning of collaboration with them, and Alex Garland has gone on to become quite a successful director in his own right since that, and like, this really kind of restarts or begins their careers respectively.
Yeah, that's really cool. I was excited that we got to this movie because I'd never seen it, and there's supposedly a good sequel, and then there's a third movie coming out soon.
Soon, yeah, that should be out. When is this coming out on the 15th? That'll be out in another 5 days.
Okay.
So maybe we'll see. We'll go see that maybe, and
I'd be up for that. I got a lot of time on my hands.
Summer breaks here, right?
Yeah. So let's take a break and we'll come back with this dissection of 28 Days Later.
A bicycle courier awakens from a coma to discover the UK and possibly the world has been infected by a rage virus, and he must struggle to adapt and survive with the uninfected people he encounters.
So it's The Walking Dead.
There's no zombies in this movie.
Yeah,
they're not
zombies.
They're not undead. They are living people infected with a virus.
Yeah, and that is notable because sometimes, like, they talk about, oh yeah, we'll just wait till they starve.
Yeah,
because they're living.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll get to the next movie. I have not ever seen 28 Weeks Later, but I know that becomes a factor, that some of these people just starve out.
Yeah,
but the infected are not entirely unintelligent.
Yeah, they seem to have strategy. Like, they'll stop chasing when it's very clear that they've lost it. You know?
Yeah. So it's interesting, but it is shockingly reminiscent to The Walking Dead. If you haven't been back to this movie, like, I was just right off the bat, I knew he woke up from a coma. But I just didn't, like, there's so many...
It starts in a hospital.
Yeah, there's so many sequences where I'm like, oh, this is... Walking Dead lifts this entirely. We just Americanized it by making him a cowboy instead of a bicycle courier.
Yeah. I think it's pretty interesting that, you know, the rage virus, they don't ever attack each other.
Yeah.
You'd think if you have two berserkers, they just go after each other.
Just rip each other to shreds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's less good. That's not a good story.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe that's happened at some point. Because they're...
Yeah, but they kind of run in packs.
They do, yeah, gather together and just run after and infect more people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, storytelling's directed by Danny Boyle, director of Train Spotting, written by Alex Garland. It's I think, like you said, this is the first movie that Alex Garland wrote, I believe. Although he had a book or a movie based on his book before this. But they had an interesting relationship because Danny Boyle was really collaborative with Alex Garland and involved him in directing. And it's partially, I think, what trained him to become a director himself.
Yeah.
And then he later discovered other directors aren't as collaborative and are more precious with their movie than this and don't involve the writer.
Yeah, the writer was like a hired hand and then they just need to get out.
Yeah, so whereas Danny Boyle involved Alex Garland in everything, in casting and like in the music and just like trained, like it was his apprenticeship to become the director that he is now.
Yeah, this it was really interesting the way the story was written because it was kind of in a linear fashion.
Yeah.
The story isn't overly complex. I would almost say that this is a simple story where the setting is the main character.
Yeah.
Because really without this whole barren wasteland of no, you know, like rage fueled speed zombies, basically. There's no story here. There's nothing to talk about.
It's just go to A to B.
Yeah, this is a travel log.
Yeah. And then the thing that was just entirely over my head seeing this movie back in the 2000s is the social commentary of it, of like what the rage virus is. Because really the whole thing is a metaphor. This is not... The rage virus, they derive it from showing chimps the news, right? Like they have a chimpanzee like Ludovico technique up in front of a bunch of TVs where he's watching Fox News, and then they're extracting that out of his brain. Yeah, and that's like what they infected
your
people
grandparents who were radicalized by Rush Limbaugh and Fox News.
Yes, and so when which I just completely over my head in 2002. But when I watch it now, I'm like, fuck, the rage virus has taken over.
Oh, yeah, they won every swing state in the last presidential election.
So, like, we live in the 28 days later, like, we live in the 28 years later now where we've been amongst the infected for all of this time. And we're literally tearing each other apart out in the streets. Mm-hmm. Like, everything this movie is commenting on has come to pass. I didn't buy the DVD, but you can get all the special features and stuff on YouTube. Mm-hmm. The documentary that comes with this is all about how vulnerable we are to a global pandemic and how inevitable it is and unprepared we are for when a global pandemic will hit. And it's like, well, Jesus, they called all that too. Like, they called the way our news media is now. They called how fucked we were if a pandemic hit us. Everything this movie's talking about has happened since this movie came out.
Yeah, and it's crazy how spot on they are. I think the only thing they were wrong about with regard to that whole pandemic thing was how badly it would hit society. Sure, lots of people lost their lives, lots of people got sick, but it didn't hit as hard as people thought it would.
Yeah.
Just people are more resilient.
The streets are empty.
Yeah. The people are more resilient than other people think.
Yes, that's true. Like, it's not, when we had a pandemic, it was not lethally virulent as what this is portrayed.
Yeah, the rage virus is a lot more dangerous.
It is, because it just takes just a little scratch, and then you're raged out within seconds.
Yeah, it's unrealistic as fantasy, but that's okay. Or
it's
science fiction, I guess. I guess Alex Garland and Danny Boyle have said they don't consider this a zombie movie, but it's often cited as kind of a one of the movies from the early 2000s that revitalized the entire zombie genre.
Yeah. Definitely Danny Boyle does not like to use the Z word. Alex Garland is a little more open about, he was playing Resident Evil a lot and had the thought, no one's made a zombie movie in a long time.
Yeah.
So he will say the word, but they do both downplay it because this is not technically a zombie movie.
I think it technically is a zombie movie. It is
technically definitely a zombie movie.
Yeah, but they don't say it is.
And they don't adhere to any of the rules of
They created new rules, and like the new paradigm is within this scope.
That's true. This does become part of the mythology, and even the things like World War Z incorporates running zombies. Like, it's not the first thing. I don't think it's the very first film that had a fast zombie in it.
No,
but it does sort of popularize that as a subgenre of zombie. Running zombies are
fast zombies are. It's like its own type of thing.
Yeah. So much scarier than a shambling zombie.
It really reminds me of, like, in Fallout. You know, you have your
the
feral ghouls. Yeah, you have the slow feral ghouls that are just sort of standing there swaying, and then they'll, like, just turn and charge at you and tackle you to the ground and start trying to eat you. You know, these guys kind of remind me of feral ghouls.
Yeah. It is. There's connected. It's all one big soup. They all kind of influence each other. But when's the first Fallout game? What year is that?
Oh, I don't even remember. Fallout's been around for a long time though.
But not from the 90s, right? It's a 2000s era.
I think so. Yeah, I think it must be contemporary. I mean, we could Google it, but that would slow everything down. Yeah, and now it's more fun to just.
No one wants to listen to Googling podcasts.
Yeah, kids, if you were alive back in the day, this is how conversations happened when you didn't know a fact. You just moved on.
You're like, I don't remember, but I will look at the box when I get home.
Yeah, or I'll ask my cousin who might know.
He played all of those games. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was explaining that to a young person recently. I was like, back in the day when we didn't know things, we just made some conjecture and then moved on.
Yeah. Or like, you could really
you could bamboozle,
you could bluff your way through an argument pretty well if you could just be more articulate than the other person.
Absolutely, fake statistics and all.
Yeah, and they're like, "Whoa, you know a lot about this," and I go, "I know nothing."
Absolutely,
yeah.
So I guess when we're talking about the various kind of directing elements and stuff, I think that Empty London is almost like an iconic piece of this movie.
Yes, it's shocking.
Yeah, and that's both a directing and a visual element because I don't even know how they did it.
So they would a lot of this comes down to using the digital video cameras because there's no setup time. You can just run and gun with them. It's like 15-minute setups at most.
Nice.
And they shot at dawn. And they would close down a block or whatever, and they would have 20 minutes to do these scenes, and they would just get Cillian Murphy in front of the London Eye or Trafalgar Square, or
yeah, because I went to London a couple years ago,
Piccadilly Circus, whatever.
I went to almost all of the famous locations that were visited in this movie. It's
and they're packed with people.
Yeah, so and it's like, those places in specific reminded me of Tokyo.
Yeah.
Like, but in this movie, they're insane. Like,
and it, no matter what, because London is so iconic and photographed, and you have seen people go to these places in movies.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you've never been there, which I've never been there, seeing these places empty of people and with just trash blowing or with a bus laying on its side and just stuff like that, it is deeply unsettling because you go, there should be people there, this is bad, like you're just like, this gives me the creeps. And the Godspeed You Black Emperor is just playing softly, and you're like, man, building louder and louder.
I was pleasantly surprised with the Godspeed You Black Emperor music because I had a couple of their CDs because this came out in my era when I was in the Army. That's why I never saw it in the theater, because I was in Iraq when this released.
Yeah, 2002. Yeah, it came out in the States in 2003.
When I was deployed.
That's true. Okay.
But I had some Godspeed You Black Emperor CDs. I had like 3 of them or 2 of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know this music.
Yeah, and bring up 9/11. Like 9/11 happened while they're making the movie.
Yeah,
and it's so like it definitely has an influence on it, because there's that where he's somewhere, I forget what that. He's in like a public square. It's in American Werewolf in London.
Yeah,
also,
it's got like 5 roads leading to it, and there's like a statue. Yeah,
and there's all these like missing person notices all around that thing, and he's like looking at them and just like wondering what's going on. And that's very much like in the aftermath of 9/11, people in New York were doing that. Like, have you seen this person? Yeah. And so it's just very haunting.
Well, and they have a similar montage in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, that's true. They do, because Rick goes through all of this stuff in The Walking Dead, just with the cowboy hat.
Yeah, I mean, I like a cowboy, so it's okay.
And so thematically, another thing that jumps out at me is just like, I don't think it's any accident that our protagonists are Irish and black people.
Yeah.
I think that historically colonized and marginalized people in the UK, and they go through different levels of society, basically. You know what I mean? And like, Cillian Murphy's character, Jim, the first thing he does is go to church, right?
Yeah.
And Irish Catholic boy, he goes in there, and the church is filled with dead people, and it looks like a Renaissance painting of the chapel, just filled with people. And he says hello, and then some of them sit up, right? And then the priest comes in, and he has to make a split-second decision as the priest runs at him, and he beans him with his bag of soda pops.
Yeah.
And then immediately he's like, I'm sorry, Father, I shouldn't have done that. And he's immediately recalcitrant about it. But it's like he goes through all of these things that people rely on. They go to the church, and then when they meet Brendan Gleeson's character, in a
high-rise type
in a tower
thing.
block, right?
Yeah.
Like a British council estate housing, and it's like these. I don't know. Like it's all of these sort of, everything is a remnant of the state structure that has failed them in some way.
Yeah,
the church failed, the housing council failed, and then ultimately the military fails to protect them.
Yeah, I think if you were a British person, it would be a lot easier to put two and two together.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I definitely agree that it's not an accident that they go through all of these, it even starts with family, there's his family, and it kind of grows all the way to the meta commentary.
Yeah. And so Jim is the bicycle courier, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously his parents, they did all right, and they got their little house in the suburbs, right? Yeah. But Jim is this classic Gen X sort of character that still lives at home, even though he's ostensibly an adult man, and has a gig economy sort of job. He's a boy with no prospects.
Yeah, and it's social commentary that was considered kind of a negative thing back in the day, but now that's the standard.
Yeah,
people don't move out.
Yeah. Because they can't afford it.
Nobody can afford a new house.
London's expensive, and then we have Brendan Gleeson's character, mm-hmm. who's the London cabbie, right?
Yeah.
And so he's got the knowledge, right? Because to drive a London black cab,
you have to take a test.
You have to take a crazy test. You have to know that city. Anyone gives you an address, you know how to get there.
I mostly took the tube while I was there, and I took the bus a couple times, but I felt it was obligatory to take a black cab at least once. So we took the black cab from the hotel to the airport on our last day there because it was the longest journey. It would have taken a long time via a transit. But yeah, they're really nice.
And
you can fit a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and they are someone who that job, which was something a working class person could do to uplift themselves, right, mm-hmm. has been supplanted by the gig economy. Jim, as the next, the Uber people are taking away, they're the Uber people who are also people just trying to get by, right?
Yeah,
but they're cutting into that, and the London cabs are losing market share.
Oh, absolutely.
And that thing that was a way that people could make their way up is going away and replaced with more of these people who just tread water. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And don't have any upward mobility.
Yeah, there's a ton of commentary on how bad things are just mm-hmm. sort of in general. Overall, a lot of the implications are bad, even before you look at the actual story of, the rage virus and them trying to get from point A to point B, mm-hmm. etc. So it's like bad plus bad.
Yeah. And I think crucially the Brendan Gleeson's character stays believing in a better option, that there is that the system is going to say it reminded me of that moment in They Live, right, where Roddy Piper gives his monologue, I still believe in America. Yeah. This idea that we can get to the army and they're going to help us is his I still believe in Britain, in the dream.
Yeah.
And then they get there and there's just nothing, and then he finally gets infected with the virus. That was even he metaphorically gives up hope at that point, right?
Yeah, this movie is about it's kind of about desperation because mm-hmm. there are no real wins. It's more like mitigating losses, or escaping a tragedy. Those are the wins,
and finding the reason to survive, right?
Yeah,
because our what's her name? Selena, Naomi Harris as Selena. Mm-hmm. She's the one, like, she's gone hardcore. In these 28 days, while Jim has been asleep, she has become a road warrior, right? And to the point where, like, her partner gets infected and she machetes his ass in a split second. Like, she does not hesitate. She chops the arm off that was bit or whatever and then goes for the head.
Like, she ices him. Like, I thought maybe she'd cut off the arm and then wait to see, like,
if he survives.
Yeah. Nope.
No, just hacks him to bits. But she, by seeing sort of Brendan Gleeson and his daughter, seeing them and how they've held on to their humanity, like, it gives her something to believe in, right? Where, like, where instead of just fighting to survive, fighting to protect each other.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of kind of anxiety in this movie, and a lot of that is that post 9/11 anxiety about society and the fragility of society and all these things. And so, like, they cling to the idea of, you know, clinging to other people, and the relationships are what matter. And it's sort of, it's just more meta commentary.
Yeah, because ultimately the people that survive from helping each other, not trying to take advantage of other people, which is what, when they get to our little army unit, they're trying to essentially lure women there to rape them.
Yeah, it was the same plot line in The Walking Dead when they would lure people into the cannibal farm.
Yeah.
It's like, we have a sanctuary you can come to. Yeah, no, you're food.
And you get there, exactly, So it's that sense that there are some people who are out there just like, this is just a way that I was exploiting people anyway, and probably, and now I can be as elaborate in my exploitation as possible.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to move on to the visual elements? Because we kind of chewed on the story for a while.
We, you know, the one thing we haven't talked about the story so far before we go on is the opening of the movie, which I'd completely forgotten. The stuff with the Animal Liberation Front, people going in
and setting the rage monkeys free
inadvertently. That's such a 2000s thing, the sort of radical environmentalist terrorist thing. Like, does the ALF even exist anymore?
If it does, it's super below ground because like, extremist terrorist groups have kind of taken the mantle.
Yeah. It is so weird. It all changes after 9/11, because, like, there used to be, like, if you're involved in animal rights or veganism or any of that stuff, there was a t-shirt that was popular in the late 90s, early 2000s that said, "All of my friends have an FBI file." That's gone. Whatever, like, that culture of radical vegans, I don't see that at all. Like, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, no, the ALF and what was it? There was an E one.
Yeah, Earth Liberation Front.
Yeah, ELF. Yeah, all that stuff. It probably still exists, but their antics no longer rate when you have all these. You know, there are right-wing terrorists, there are outside terrorist groups and all this stuff. It's like, no one gives a shit about the people stopping the logging company,
right? They won, actually. Logging has stopped. You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
we just order logs from China.
Yeah, it is.
No, we actually sell logs to China.
We sell logs to China, and we import finished lumber.
Yeah, we don't do jobs here.
There actually is I'll put this in the notes. There's a good documentary about the ELF called "If a Tree Falls in the Woods."
Oh, okay.
Because a lot of those people went to federal prison.
Yeah,
like, that's the people at the beginning of this movie went to federal prison. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
and rightly so, because they unleashed the rage virus.
Yeah, they ruined everything.
Yeah, let's talk about visuals. Cinematography by Anthony Dodd Mantle. He was brought in because of his familiarity with digital video, and I think Danny Boyle's continued to work with him. This movie has a look.
Oh yeah, this is one of those ones where it's like, if your record was produced by Rick Rubin, or in the extreme metal thing, like if Peter Tägtgren makes your album, you kind of know the sound.
Yeah, it is raw as fuck. It is so gritty looking, to the point that like there's certain shots that look like paintings, not because of any sort of filter, but just because of the poor quality of the camera and the way it distorts with the lighting. Like,
oh yeah,
there's something where I think it's when they get out of the city for the first time and you see like a field of tulips and it looks like a Van Gogh painting. And
yeah, it's just, these are potatoes by modern standards.
Yeah, and it's just I think it's very distinctive. I certainly wouldn't want every movie to look like this, but it suits this movie and the tone of this movie perfectly.
This was like Blair Witch adjacent.
That's all digital video too. Yeah, and that's the same time period, because digital video is only kind of just becoming very available to use at this point.
Yeah, because people were still using like 8mm and stuff pretty commonly on consumer electronics.
Oh, yeah. I remember selling those tapes.
Yeah, because it was high quality. I mean, it looks better than this, let's be real.
I don't know about that. The 8mm looks pretty... anything that's on tape looks pretty rough, honestly. It's got a certain charm to it. Yeah, and this movie has a certain charm.
Yeah, it definitely does.
And
this is like a Burzum album.
It is true cult cinema. Yeah. Oh, episode title.
True cult cinema, KVLT.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was just shocked at how raw this movie looked.
I liked some of the, as far as the looks go, I liked how it was high contrast with harsh shadows. It reminded me of German Expressionism.
Yeah.
I like that. I've always liked that. And I like how because I like to paint, miniatures and models and things. I like dark darks and bright brights. I like it to be like full spectrum. Don't give me muted midtones everywhere. No. I want the highs and the lows.
There was something I watched recently from the early 2000s, and because of The Matrix was the thing that really kind of kicked off the weird color grading, where The Matrix, everything's green.
Yeah.
Most movies from that era, everything is blue. And that became just the look of the early 2000s. And I was really happy that this had a unique aesthetic to it, and it didn't have that blue Underworld wash where like everything...
Underworld's pretty dope.
Yeah, and Underworld has a cool aesthetic, but everyone copied it for 10 years. And it's like everyone filmed in Prague and everyone did a blue wash on everything, and it was like, not every movie should look like Underworld. Like, so I was very happy with that weird skateboard video quality of this movie.
Yeah, the handheld cameras, and it's like you could call it shaky cam with air quotes, but it was really just non-stabilized video held by human beings who are moving.
Yeah, and they would shoot, because they're doing digital and it's cheap and effective, 4 cameras. And so any of the interviews people talk about how you would have, like with the actors, you don't know, are you in a close-up or a long shot? You're probably in both at any given time. And so you are just in the performance and you're not thinking about the camera because there's a bunch of cameras. And so you have to just...
The editors will piece together the best vision of whatever it is.
I didn't say, the editor is Chris Gill. Production design by Mark Tilsley, and costume design by Rachel Fleming. I like the costume design too. I love this sort of early 2000s British, like people in like their track jackets and like, that's just that sort of Euro hooligan.
I wore a track jacket to work today.
Yeah, the Adidas track.
Yeah,
that's a forever item. It will never not be.
If you wear an Adidas track jacket and Adidas shoes, so the 3 stripes, have synergy. That's a classic look.
Yeah,
it just looks good all the time.
Yeah,
you have drip just instantly,
and it is one of those things that in literally anyone. Grandpa can wear an Adidas track jacket, and it doesn't look like Grandpa's wearing street clothes. And like whatever Trippy Red or whoever is the cool mumble rapper right now can wear an Adidas track jacket. And somehow it is okay for everyone.
Yeah, it's sort of like a Carhartt canvas jacket. Anyone can wear it anytime. It's kind of universal.
And you have no idea. Like, is this a blue-collar worker or a hipster or
just like an old guy or whatever?
Just like a biker. Like
anyone
can wear Carhartt. Anyone can wear Adidas in the classic things. Not everyone can wear like the fuzzy ones.
Yeah, the weird ones. We're talking about like the iconic looks. Yeah. I think that they did like crystallize the vibe of the early 2000s kind of urban look. And it was pretty international. We had the internet. People kind of knew what people were dressing like. And I think that like you could have seen any of these people on the streets of Portland in 2001, 2002. It looked good, and the fact that the costumes didn't jump out at me is a good thing, because this is supposed to be sort of like realism, post-realism or whatever. But
it's not. They're not dressed like the guys in Hackers or something.
It's not Mad Max, you know, like, oh, the world's gone to shit. Look at us, we have football pads on.
Yeah,
no, these are just normal people. It's kind of like The Road, right? Yeah. Just regular clothes.
But like Selena's got like a full length like leather trench coat, right?
Yeah.
Everyone should be wearing a full-length leather trench coat in a zombie apocalypse. When you're worried about people biting you,
absolutely.
Are you kidding me?
And you should be wearing gloves,
buttoned up. Like, you know what I mean? Full-length leather trench coat, buttoned up, with a mask. Like, it's not that hard to not get bit by someone.
Yeah, like, unless the creatures in the property have like special power, just try to go and gnaw through a leather jacket with your teeth. It's not happening.
Yeah, no, I've always thought that like if there's an apocalypse and you can get to what's the store in the mall, Wilson's Leather.
Yeah.
Just if you can get a Wilson's Leather
and a pair of pants if you're lucky.
Yeah, put on the chaps, the pants, the full-length trench coat, the gloves, the bandana, the leather bandana head wrap.
I would never wear one of those.
If you're worried about someone biting you, you would.
That's true. I have some helmets though, so I would just be wearing those.
Oh, if you get one of those old school leather football helmets,
that'd be even better. Ears. Probably more comfortable too.
Yeah, and goggles, because
motorcycle goggles, old school.
If Brendan Gleeson had goggles, he'd be good.
Oh,
we wouldn't have lost poor
Or what
Frank.
People at that point who have glasses have an advantage.
Yeah.
Or even just contacts, would that help? No, probably not.
No, well, I don't think so. But yeah, if a blood drip got me, I'd be like, whew, close one.
I would have something over my mouth so I couldn't accidentally catch spray. Because like if you machete somebody and then it sprays into your mouth, oh, I just killed myself. It's like dropping the bomb on your own feet in a video game. You're like, damn it.
Yeah, there's a few where they're really hacking people and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of blood flying around, and you're just hoping nothing gets in an orifice.
Yeah, you bet you should have been wearing a mask. Like, minimally like a welder's mask or something.
Yeah.
A hood.
Yeah. It is. So, yeah, I commend her for her full-length leather trench coat. That is the move. If you have one, this is... If you're the Crow, Neo, or in a zombie apocalypse, these are the appropriate times to wear a full-length leather trench coat.
Yeah. I mean, or if you're in Prague, standing on balconies, you know, they have leather trench coats.
In a blue wash.
A blue rain, if you will.
Yeah. And then the last visual person I want to call out is Sally J, who's the makeup designer.
Okay.
The Infected have a look. They're distinct.
They don't look really like zombies.
No, they've got these crazy eyes.
They look sick.
They look like they're infected with Ebola or something, but like angry Ebola.
Yeah, and they used they color coded things like infected people had reddish eyes. They were all bloodshot, and so it wasn't like weird cartoony red eyes, but they were heavily bloodshot,
super
bloodshot, fucked up.
Yeah,
and that was good because you could kind of look at someone and be like, oh no, they're fucked up.
Yeah, and they always shot the infected in a weird frame rate. Which is interesting because it's either where I should have looked this up, but it's either you're showing it at 24 frames per second, but you're either overclocking it where you're shooting more frames than that and then showing it at that level, or it's the reverse.
Yeah, so they can have that kind of staccato, jumpy-ish,
like a strobing effect.
Yeah.
Because at the end, when Jim goes hog wild and goes and kills all the soldiers, they're shooting him as though he's infected. He's always shot in that weird frame rate up until the moment when him and Selena like reconnect, and then the camera kind of comes back normal.
Well, and then at the very end, the epilogues part switches to 35 millimeter film.
Right.
It becomes smooth.
Yeah. And the epilogue looks gorgeous because they're in like Northumbria or something like that. And it's so like, it looks like they found paradise. You know what I mean? Like they're in their little cottage in the north of England, and they have found like some sort of domestic bliss away from all of this shit. It's pretty cool. I mean, the movie has it is very intentional with its production with regard to the video and all of that, and things are really color coded. Like the eyes and various things. And I like that about it. It's subtle and it's interesting. Yeah, and it's. Are you aware that there's multiple endings?
I read that there were something like 4 additional endings or something, or 4 total.
There's 2 that were released at the time, and you could see either one in the theater.
Just randomly, you would not know.
You would not know which ending, if you were going to get a Jim dies ending or the Jim lives ending.
Oh,
I've only seen this one, the one that is the canon,
the official Jim lives ending.
the canon happy ending. I've not seen the bleak ending, and then there is another bleak ending that was shot, but was not released at the time. It's on the DVD, and then there's an ending that's just storyboarded. And so there's 1 Jim lives ending and 3 Jim dies endings.
Yeah, that was it. 4 of them and 3 Jim dies. That's.
I like Jim to live. It's bleak enough. Like we need something. And I'm a courier myself. I like to see. This is a movie that celebrates drivers, couriers, blue collar, those people that get you from A to B and get your stuff from A to B. The people that make the world go around.
When I was in the Middle East, I was on many, many convoy teams.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like to do the whole convoy thing and be it's a danger zone, like Jim in this world and stuff. Yeah, for sure. I like Jim living. And also, I think maybe it's because I'm old now or something, but I like to enjoy things. Like, I like enjoyable things. Like, and for some... I'm not saying every movie needs to be a happy ending because that would be boring, but in this case, it's not even. There's almost no joy through the whole movie. There's one moment of levity in the middle when they have
their shopping spree.
The shopping spree into the picnic. Aside from that, this movie is bleakness.
Yeah,
and so I like
a little bit of hope.
Yeah, just sort of. It's like getting a little. At the end, just sort of smooth it over.
Yeah.
It's like...
And I think a happy ending would be a stretch, because we've lost a lot to get there,
Yeah, they just survive.
Yeah. It is a trip, though, to go from Jim being your POV character to Frank being your POV character. That's a weird thing, to become the Frank aged guy.
Yes, because I think Frank is meant to be an old guy.
Yeah, like a 40-something guy.
But, we're in our 40s, and I really like Brendan Gleeson. And I think he's great in this role.
Well, yeah, we'll get more into this in the performances. Have you ever not loved Brendan Gleeson in anything?
I don't think so. Like, just because he's just been so good in everything.
Yeah. Even if he's a complete bastard, he's the best bastard.
Like when Gangs in New York.
Yeah, where he's the cop. I hate cops. And
he's awesome in that. Yeah, he's just really
with
good.
his shillelagh. Mm-hmm. Fuck yes, dude. Okay, well, we'll get to that. Let's do audio first. Original music by John Murphy.
Yeah,
and he is he does the thing where there's contemporary music, and then he elaborates on the themes and motifs of the songs. Like, so you have that Godspeed You Black Emperor song the score is built off of it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I like it. I think they were intentional by not having music all the time. There are a few moments of almost like
complete
total silence, and that it feels eerie as fuck, and I like that. But then there's a lot of good mood music going on, and it's not hyper melodic, it's not like jaunty, it's just sort of, it's there, it's moving, it's got it's powerful. I don't know, and
it builds tension, right? Like, because it's just constantly the Godspeed You Black Emperor song is like 15 minutes long. Like, it's a really long
It's
track.
A pretty normal thing for them.
Yeah. And then he takes it and stretches it even longer, and it's like it just builds and builds, and you get more and more anxious as it speeds up and gets louder. It's just super, super effective. And then at the end, when Jim is like running around and like clubbing people and doing his crazy stuff, the music is so intense at that point, and you're just like, your heart's pounding, like your pulse follows the music through the movie.
Yeah, I think that this music reminds me of the costuming in this. It's effective. It's not out front, and I think that that's important. I think that too many movies that I watch that are made more recently, it's like costumes are garish, the music is in your face, and it's really distracting. Like, they're like, yeah, look at me, it's my moment. Yeah. No, it's not about you. It's about the total package. Yeah. You're one piece of the puzzle. Yeah. And I think that it properly it holds its own, but it doesn't steal the spotlight.
Yeah. And then the sound design is by Glenn Fremantle, and this starts off a creative partnership between him and Alex Garland. I think Glenn Fremantle has done the sound design on all of Alex Garland's movies. So I think Ex Machina, Civil War, Warfare, like all these movies.
I haven't seen Civil War. I did see Ex Machina, and that was good.
Yeah, that movie rules too.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Civil War either because it's a little just too close to what we're going through.
Current events. And
then Warfare, I'd be really interested to hear what you think about that one, because it's him embedded with the guy that co-directs it with him is an actual Iraq War veteran, and it is something that guy went through, like an event. And it's all based on the recollections of the other guys in his unit.
Wow.
And like our pal Ed went and saw it, and he said it's just like, it's the most realistic depiction that he's ever seen.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to see that.
Yeah,
it probably is not really my jam.
It's very I know it's both, like, I've seen a lot of interviews, like exit interviews with veterans, who it's like, it's both traumatizing and validating. Like, it's that, like, it shows it like it is, but it puts you back in it.
Yeah, I don't need that. I like to chill.
I like escapism.
Yeah, I like to just be chill.
Yeah, so I haven't seen either of those movies, but I have seen Ex Machina, and
that movie's great.
That movie rules. Anything else we want to say about the sound?
No, I think we kind of covered it.
All right, let's get into this killer cast of people that become luminaries, like Academy Award winner Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, he's pretty darn good. I mean, seeing this makes me want to go. Like, I've never watched Peaky Blinders, where he was, the star of that.
That's totally yours. I've only seen a couple episodes.
Seems like something I would like.
That's a Dave show, yeah.
Yeah, tough guy, kind of organized crime situation in the 20s or something, turn of the century.
It's post-war, but I don't remember World War I or World War II.
It's got to be one.
Okay, if it's in the 20s, yeah.
20. Yeah, this could be anywhere 20s to 30s at that point. So Great Depression era.
Yeah, and it's inspired by a true story. This was a real street gang.
Okay,
they wore.
All right, let's do an episode on that. All of the set. I'm just kidding.
Let's binge all seasons. We'll do our Twin Peaks.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
Yeah, no, lesson learned.
Although I will say,
I enjoyed that time.
All of the cultists out there, our YouTube numbers on our Twin Peaks episodes, pretty good.
Are they?
Pretty darn good. We've been getting several hundred listens for the last several episodes. And by that, I mean the last 6 months-ish. Wow. So, yeah. Many thanks to those people who may have found us via the algorithm. But, yeah, the Twin Peaks was a bit much. 18 episodes for season 2 killed me.
Yeah.
It robbed me of joy.
Oh, stop, though, because when you said the thing about the digital camera reminded you of German Expressionism.
Yes.
That's the same thing David Lynch says in his Catching the Big Fish book.
Oh.
That when he switched over to digital video, he felt like the low resolution looked like German Expressionism. So
great mind things alike. It's a David thing.
Yes, that was such a spot on thing, and I wanted to say it then, but you were on a roll, and so I didn't want to jump in.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, so Cillian Murphy, this is his second role.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty damn good, right? And he is... he's an eerie looking guy, right? He's got these very haunting sort of blue eyes.
Kind of sallow features or sunken features.
Yeah, he's a thin man. He's very sort of I don't know.
He's
stringy.
He's like Benedict Cumberbatch, but not as tall.
Yeah, and Irish. And so more relatable instantly. Benedict Cumberbatch is posh.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah. And he's scruffy. He's so scruffy at the beginning. And he's got the scars on his head of when you're a cyclist that gets hit by a car. Just like Cultist Sam. Shout out to Cultist Sam, has the same scars.
That's a good. Are those real or is that makeup?
I think that's makeup. They're real on Cultist Sam. He really got hit by a car.
It makes you want to have a car after that.
It does. You're like, whoa, bike's overrated. Car, pretty good. Once you've been in a bike v car, car wins. Literally every time. It's crazy to see someone who goes on to be a huge movie star as a nobody.
And he's acting his ass off in this movie. He's occasionally he goes from bewilderment to kind of vulnerability to protective to ragefully angry and just crazy psycho. He kind of does the whole thing.
Yeah.
He goes from
the range of human emotion.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it was crazy. To see this character Jim just kind of experience it all. He went through the ringer.
So we haven't talked about this. When we meet Jim, he's full nude. Dongle out. In what circumstance are you left at the hospital in a locked room, but with your dongle out?
Yeah, why didn't he have a gown on?
Or a blanket, at least. It just seemed like they abandoned him mid-surgery, or what? It just...
Yeah, or someone was changing his linens or whatever, and then all of a sudden the rage people entered the hospital. They're like, oh my God, and ran out. I don't know.
But they took the time to shut the blinds, lock the door, and slide the key under the door.
Yeah.
And you didn't have the time to put a blanket on him? This poor man's just hanging out there.
You're just going to die of exposure. Yeah.
So, anyways, not what I mean. good dick, I guess. but maybe
I just chalked it up to it's a British movie. They're fine. They're fine with that.
Maybe it was Killian's choice. He was like, I just think it'd be more real if my dick was out.
Yeah, he's like, I am raw dogging this movie.
And they're like, it's really not necessary, Killian, or we could get a body double.
He just looks at them with that piercing stare and says, it's necessary.
Drops the robe and lays down.
They're like, all right, film.
Yeah, all right. He wants it. Yeah. So anyways, yeah. Star-making performance. His career. This gets him the role of Scarecrow in Batman Begins, and then a long career that has followed.
I think this is a better portrayal than that Scarecrow portrayal.
Well, it gives him more to do.
It's just a better movie, I guess.
Than Batman Begins?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. That's a pretty good movie. That's a Christopher Nolan to Danny Boyle. I think Danny Boyle's directed some of my favorite.
Yeah, Trainspotting.
One of my very favorite movies. I think the hit ratio for Christopher Nolan is stronger.
I think Christopher Nolan is more of a bankable director, but I think
Danny Boyle takes risks.
I think Danny Boyle is more of I think he's more true cult cinema.
It's true. He is. He is true cult cinema. Christopher Nolan is the definition of mainstream cinema.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in the best way. Next up, I've got Naomi Harris as Selena.
Yeah. This character was like hard-boiled.
Yes, and she's like pharmacist become road warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how in an apocalyptic future, a pharmacist is as close to a doctor as you can find.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I know what drugs you should take, and that's advanced medical knowledge in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you can't get a full-on doctor, if you can get a pharmacist or like a nurse, that's about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah.
So I think that this performance is really good. She's extremely intense for most of the movie, and there are moments of humanity that shine through in the performance.
Yeah,
I think that the writing called for that, and it would have been easy for her to just kind of be like the tough girl the whole thing.
Yeah,
but she's able to flip the switch in her performance, and I think that that's really good.
Yeah, she has this sort of reverse arc to what Jim goes through.
Yeah,
where
she softens.
Jim gets harder and she gets softer and more caring.
I think they meet in the middle.
Yeah, and that's where you survive at, right? Is that sort of like strong enough to protect yourself and each other, but soft enough to care and let someone else care,
Yeah, I think I was playing some video games recently, and I think that there's got to be there's sort of got to be a, video games that make you think about things are the best ones, because it's like you have to, and it related to these characters and their arc, it's like you have to be hard enough to do the difficult things and to make the difficult decisions and occasionally act with brutal violence in defense of what matters and what is good.
Right.
But the moment that you lose track of what matters and what is good, and you just are making brutal or violent decisions for advancement purposes, not protecting what matters in pursuit of good, that's where you turn the corner and you become
a villain.
You become a miscreant. It's like, the difference between a villain and an anti-hero is that the anti-hero and the villain can do the very same things, but the anti-hero does it for good reasons.
Yeah.
And so, I think that these characters find that they are, I don't think they're quite anti-hero. They're more hero, but they had to find their why in the world. Like, why are we even living? Because his parents decided not to. There is no why.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. When they go to Jim's house and his parents just took sleeping pills, basically, and did
booze,
and did a mutual suicide.
Yeah.
And everyone tells him how lucky he is, right? That
they died peacefully.
Yeah. And then that's a really tough scene early in the movie before Jim is really like fully accepted the world as it is.
Yeah, I half expected his parents to get up and attack him, but
I like the sort of Titanic ending of them in the bed together. That's romantic.
Yeah, it's good.
So,
also no blanket.
Yeah, again, that's just how this family rolls.
Yeah, they just sleep on top of the blankets everywhere they go.
Yeah, because his mom's out there in her panties. Too.
Yeah, it's like just letting it all hang out. I think that's just their family custom. They sleep on top of the bedding.
What if Jim's dead dad was there, dong out too? He was like, he died the way he would have liked. He wanted.
He died how he died how he lived.
Hanging dong.
Yeah, I think that's just got to be their family words.
Hanging dong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Murphy family words. So if you get bit by someone with a rage virus, do you want to just be set loose in the world, or do you want to be hacked up with the machete?
Set me loose.
Okay.
Because I think it's a long shot, but maybe a cure happens and they could just, dart people.
Yeah, because I kind of because Frank does the get away from me thing.
Yeah.
And God, what's the guy, Mark, played by Noah Huntley? Mm-hmm. He doesn't get a choice. Selena hacks him up.
Yeah, just
if I got infected, I saw that thing, I think I just take off running.
Yeah, I would yell, infected, and just run away.
And you're like, that was the last we saw of Dave. He just kept running, like Forrest Gump.
He's like, good on him. I hope he finds some people to eat.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to hack him to bits with a machete. That would have been just a huge bummer for me and him.
Exactly. Because what if they're sort of conscious behind that? They're like, no, Nick, don't hack me to death. I'm just hungry.
I just want. If you let me bite you, you'll see the.
Well, then we'll just
see what I'm so mad about.
Then we'll just be rage homies, and we'll just roam the land.
There's something to be said for just being like, I got infected. Let's just all go full in on infected right now.
Let's just do this. It's better than dying or killing our family.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna make it without you anyway. So.
Now we're like a wolf pack.
And we're just until someone bigger and badder finds us, we just run around biting people.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
It's the closest thing to vampires. We're decided.
So, all right. If you get bit, I'll just let you bite me,
and vice versa,
and we rage on. This is like Wolf all over again. Jack Nicholson was a dick for not biting that other guy.
Yeah, seriously, if you become a werewolf and you don't make me a werewolf, I'm mad, dude.
Yeah,
I want to be a werewolf.
Yeah, I've secretly been a werewolf for years, and I could have bit you at any time,
dude.
That's why I take every 3 days off every full moon.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
Next up, Brendan Gleeson as Frank. I love Frank.
Yeah, maybe the performance of the movie. I mean, Cillian Murphy's hard to beat, but I mean, this was really good. Top tier.
Yeah, I've just loved him since Braveheart. I think that's the first thing I saw him in. And he's William Wallace's right-hand man, and I've always loved this guy.
And he's kind of like the emotional anchor of the group. He keeps it real. Yeah. He's like, we need you more than you need us.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do this. You know, he's a dad, and he is realistic, and he's not bullshitting people. He doesn't try to play macho. He's just a real guy.
And he's barricaded himself in his tower block, right? Mm-hmm. He's made a barricade of shopping carts, and he's got his SWAT gear wherever he picked this up, so he can go out and fight zombies if he needs to.
Yeah.
But he's made a beacon, right? He's looking for people. He's not we're just gonna hole up here and we'll do it on our own. He understands right from the start there's other good people out there.
Yeah.
And we need to find them, and we need to help each other.
That is the power of humans, cooperation. That is the advantage we have.
There's the sort of alpha bullshit that is not evolutionarily correct, that people believe, where everything is about competition and survival of the fittest. That is not how humans conquered the world. It was through cooperation.
Yeah, absolutely. Some animals get by on certain traits. Ours happens to be social. That's our trait.
Yeah. We're sorfed and vulnerable, naked apes, and we're not as good at anything as any of the other primates.
Yeah, we're not the best at anything.
Except for working together and problem solving, engineering.
Yeah, maybe walking. Yeah. We walk almost better than anyone.
Fully upright. Suck it, chimps.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like they say that our ancestors were walking predators. They could injure an animal and literally walk it to death because of the pendulum swinging of our gait and the upright nature. We use less energy to walk than other animals. So yeah, anyway, cooperation and endurance maybe are our only things. And so Brendan Gleeson's character, Frank, he gets that. He's like, I can't just live here with my daughter forever. Like, oh yeah, I'm 80 years old. And that's not going to work.
That's no life for her.
You'll run out of food. Obviously they're running out of water.
I know. Like, what a shit luck to be in an apocalypse in Britain while it's not raining.
With a drought. Yeah.
And he has every bucket on the roof of the building and no water to collect.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm sure they'd gone through every room of every building and emptied every toilet bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next I have Megan Burns as Hannah. That's Frank's daughter. I'd say it's one of the less professional performances in the movie, but she's a young kid, and I think it's still effective.
Yeah, and this Megan Burns goes on to put out like an album under the name Betty Curse.
Oh yeah,
and I think a couple of albums actually. She kind of she looks kind of like a early 2000s kind of gothy poppy person. Anyway, yeah, I did a little looking up on that because I was also curious how old she was in this. She was definitely a minor.
Yeah.
When they were filming this. Because I thought some of the scenes were inappropriate for a minor. Very inappropriate for a minor.
We're getting on into our soldiers. Christopher Eccleston as
kind
Major
of the
Henry
main
West.
villain here.
Yeah, Doctor Who. He's got a weird. He's always someone I like, but he has a weird career. He takes a lot of weird villain roles and stuff, and a lot of TV acting. I've been curious, how do you feel about these soldiers and how they're portrayed? And is a month enough time to kind of go as off the reservation as these guys are?
Not at all. I think that they're not portrayed like professional soldiers at all. Like they are like a gang with a charismatic leader.
Yeah, his unit of raw boys, basically, are completely unprofessional as soldiers.
They don't even act like soldiers in a unit. Everybody, you know each other really well. You know who you like, you know who you don't like. You get along with everyone. You get stuff done. It's not constantly razzing people and treating people like shit. There's like a professionalism. You are coworkers, but also trusting them with your life all the time.
Yeah,
they do not act like soldiers. They act like idiots.
Yeah.
And also they fucking suck with their guns. Like these actors, they did not put them through firearms training.
They had a quick, like, I feel like they had 2 weeks of
2 weeks. Oh my God.
Of like, this is how you march in formation. This is how you shoot guns. Like
it did not stick.
It didn't stick.
They should have just, because none of the actors aside from Christopher Eccleston were very important. They should have just hired some soldiers, some veterans or whatever.
Oh yeah, that as extras.
Yeah, they would have been better, because these guys, that was the least believable part of the movie, that in 28 days you can go from professional military men to like oh yeah, everything sucks, and some people were thinking about deserting. So what did I do? I created a rape trap for them, and they were fucking stoked. Absolutely not. They're still people. It's only been 4 weeks.
Yeah, and there's one guy in their unit that is a conscientious objector to the rape trap, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're gonna have to kill the guy that's not pro-rape.
And I'm not saying that there aren't complete D-bags in the military, but discipline is just tighter than that.
Yeah.
It just is.
So, but in the argument for how bad it gets with them, when you have a bad commanding officer, he sets the tone for everything, right?
It's very possible that he could, end of the world, and he is villainous, so he makes them all villainous. Sure. And also, this is all kind of cultural, societal commentary and satire. Everything is extra.
Yeah.
So it's just being extra. But I still think that in a squad of 10 guys or 9 guys, I think it says.
Yeah.
There's no way that 8 out of 9 are rapists.
Yeah.
If I was just saying the people that I serve with, far less than half, even in the apocalypse.
Yeah. I feel like it's the place that stretches credulity the most. In this zombie movie, it is the place to me that stretches it the furthest. But the way they portray it, you have the bad CEO, and you have one guy in particular that is particularly rapey. And he is sort of the leader of the pack there as far as that goes. Because you have a whole bunch. You have a guy that's the bottom, the guy that wears the apron that's their cookie.
Yeah.
He's the bottom of their pecking order. And then you have a bunch of guys that seem sort of like they're just going with the flow. Then you have the one guy that's an aggressive rapist and one guy that objects.
Yeah.
And so it's... Yeah, I'm not sure that that's really the numbers, the way they would break down.
Yeah,
I feel like there'd be just more people that say, maybe we should wait and see if anyone makes contact before we go completely feral.
Yeah, I mean, if it's only been 4 weeks, you probably are thinking that something's gonna happen still.
Soon?
Yeah, units have been cut off from their army or whatever for longer than that, and held discipline.
There was Japanese soldiers in the Philippines that were there until the 70s.
Yeah, the decades. Yeah, these guys. Are you telling me the English guys can't make it 4 weeks without going crazy?
It's pretty damn quick to fold, in my opinion. Yeah, and it's just I don't know. In my limited experience, it's mostly people that I know through you, but we know a lot of people that are veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Relatively few actual psychos.
I would say less than 10%, but I would also say for as many people as I think have the capability to become a psycho in this situation, you have just as many, if not maybe more, people that have a paladin mentality.
Yeah. And when you have 9 guys, but this is the case for the guys at the top being bad and spoiling the whole group. Because I just feel like in 9 guys, you have more variety of opinion, you know, and there's an equilibrium that comes where we have to keep the psycho a little happy, but we also have to keep the guy that's super righteous a little happy, and we have to keep all 9 of us together. That's the core thing.
Yeah,
right?
There probably would have been 3 guys saying oh yeah, I'm married and it's only been a month. I'm not.
My wife might still be out there.
I'm not doing this. This is fucked up. Then you'd have at least one that's I'd rather just be gay than do the rapey thing. And then you'd probably have some who are but what if we got an infected person and just tied them up? There would be a talk.
There was. See, that's the other thing is they've got a guy from their own unit.
Yeah,
who is infected
on a chain,
and they've got him on a damn dog chain out there, and they're just waiting to see how long it takes to starve to death.
Yes.
I don't know about you, like, I couldn't have done that. I would have shot that guy by now. Like, I would have just ended that and not had my homie out there on a goddamn chain. Like, that's
Absolutely.
it's just too far.
I was thinking, like, if that were to happen, like, if I could see a military officer making a pragmatic decision
We
need to know this. They wouldn't have been chained up in the courtyard. They probably would have literally put them in a box and then just had one person in charge of checking on it every day.
Yeah.
And then reporting back when it's dead.
Even then, I think someone would have killed him. Like,
yeah, but it would have been limited. Like, they wouldn't tell everyone where they're. You find out with only 9 people.
Yeah.
But it's at a certain point.
It would be too much for someone to bear.
Especially, it would have been somebody's best friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's just like...
Unless the guy that everyone hates got infected, because every unit has a guy that everyone hates. Yeah.
Well, that could be. And then you're like, he's a dick. I love that he's chained out like a dog.
Yeah, I'd be like, it would be him. Fucking guy. He's fucking useless at everything. He can't even not get bit.
I bet he bit the zombie.
Exactly. There's always a guy that is incompetent.
So should we run through these soldiers, or do they matter?
They don't matter.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, really? Is there anyone else? Yeah, the rest of the list. Stuart McQuarrie.
I would say Stuart McQuarrie because he played non-rapey guy.
You're right. He's the one renegade soldier that opposes it. Mm-hmm. He's the philosopher. He has the theory that it's only England and the rest of the world has quarantined
I like
them.
that theory.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I'm very curious about the next 2 movies because I haven't the one that's coming out. And the one,
we should go see that in the theater. The third one which means watching the second one before then.
Yeah.
But we got a few days.
Yeah, Oh, you're right. We need to do it. Yeah. Well, yeah, we've got time. We'll watch all 3. Okay, commitment. Richie Hammett, Leo Bell, Luke Mabley, Junior Lanian. Ray Panthaki, Sanjay Ramabaruth, and Marvin Campbell are the other soldiers.
Yeah.
The dickhead soldier. Which one's the rapist?
I was going to say Marvin Campbell is not the dickhead soldier. He's the guy that's held. Yeah.
One. Yeah. I think it's Mitchell. I think Corporal Mitchell, Richie Harnett. I think he's the one that's like, yeah, I can't wait to get to rape it.
Yeah, Corporal Mitchell, bad guy.
Dickhead. Yeah. Okay, so...
Throw him out there with private mailer.
While we're talking about all this, what do we think about Jim's plan of setting Mailer loose, running around and basically letting the soldiers kill each other while he rescues the girls? It seems reckless.
Absolutely reckless. Not a very good plan.
It's not a good plan. It's exciting. Mm-hmm. Like, it's very exciting to watch. But when he cuts him loose, and I just think, like, what if he bites one of your girls? This whole thing was a wash. Then you totally bungled it.
I think setting him loose is a plan, but he could come after you or the girls, and then you have to kill him, and then you face all the soldiers.
Yeah.
Or you could just set the whole place on fire.
Yeah.
And then everybody has to flee and you get the girls in the chaos. They just leave machine guns out on the porch.
They don't have good gun discipline.
And you could just get one. Mm-hmm. Like, he's sneakier than them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there were a lot of options there. I think setting Mailer loose could be one X factor, a dangerous one. I think a fire is a more reliable X factor.
I think you set the fire... You get the girls, and then you set the guy loose, and then you leave. The
whole time you have a gun.
The whole time you have a gun. Yeah, but something you have to take into account. Most people in the UK and Ireland have never.
They don't know how to use a gun. That's
so
true.
The gun's like useless to him, or semi-useless. He's played video games.
Yeah, I mean, if he can figure out how to get the safety off, he's gold.
That's true. Just pray and spray.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not that tough.
And none of them are good at using the gun except for Eccleston anyway.
Yeah, so I'm sure if he could get a gun, that would be better.
Yeah. Anyways, Jim, bad plan, but it worked out.
Of course it worked out.
Yeah. Personal highlight.
I was thinking about this a lot because it's like there are a few really good scenes in the movie, but I'm just going to go ahead and choose the sequence after he wakes up and he kind of goes out into the eerily silent world where he's just fully isolated. It's visually stunning, and it's just, you get these beautiful landmarks like Westminster Bridge, Piccadilly Circus. You get all of these places that should be just absolute hives of human activity, and it's just like a pigeon.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that actually kind of, that put me in the whole mood of this movie. Like early on, like I actually didn't like the prequel part with the whole like liberation and how the virus started, blah, blah, blah.
It's a little too much.
That felt fantasy. But this part was just pure human, like, it was awe, and I thought it was awesome. I thought that was the probably the best scene in the movie. How about you? What's your personal highlight?
On the second episode in a row, we picked the same one.
Oh, damn it.
And I don't have a runner-up because it is, like, when you think about this movie, you think about Jim with his fucked up haircut, in his hospital scrubs and barefoot, and his bag of sodas, walking around empty London, just like, what the fuck has happened? And it's such a visceral, like, easy to like get caught in fear of like going to sleep and waking up and the whole world has changed. Like, it's just so relatable and scary, and the locations are so iconic, and seeing them empty is legitimately arresting. You're like, it ought not be that way. It's just what you think.
This is crazy.
This is not how this place looks. I've seen it in a million movies, and it doesn't look like this.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's just so haunting. And then when the first time someone looks at him in the church, and it's like, he's probably been walking for an hour, and he has not encountered a single person in the city. And then when he does, they want to kill him. Like, it's just too scary. So that sequence, Jim walking through deserted London, that's unanimous. Hands down, it's the highlight of the movie.
Yeah, I think that the movie really peaks in the first quarter.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. What worked for you?
I would say the overall vibes of this movie, and the mood, the tone, the themes that it discusses, I think that this just has an overall foreboding presence.
Yeah.
It feels kind of like a zombie movie, but also kind of like some sort of post-apocalyptic, just sort of, I don't know. It's just it's a movie about isolation.
Yeah.
And it's whereas they seek human contact, but the humans are the villains. So yeah, I think that the vibes and the themes were the biggest thing. But then also, I gotta say, the casting was really good. I love, in particular, Brendan Gleeson. I mean, not only Gangs of New York, but he was Mad Eye Moody in the Harry Potter movies. Yeah. And the scene where he actually turned and he's just freaking out, the physical acting and the performance that he delivered was just next level. It was breathtaking.
Oh, it's rough. He's like, he tells his daughter, he's like, Hannah, I love you. Get away from me. Like,
yeah,
it's rough. And none of them,
they don't get it.
No, they get it, but none of them, like, they're like, none of them can bring themselves to kill him, and then the soldiers come up and blow him away.
Yeah, just ice him.
Yeah, oof.
So yeah, that's what worked for me. How about you? What worked for you?
Yes, so the metaphors and themes of the movie, I think they were over my head when I first saw it, and now I'm just like kind of blown away by how on point it was about what it was saying about society. The visual aesthetic, I like that digital video raw look of this. This is like one of the punkest looking movies I think we've ever, like, since Repo Man. This is the next punkest thing we've seen.
Maybe Nosferatu, the early ones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Nosferatu is pretty punk rock. and the pacing, like, the thing that I like about this movie is it builds tension and anxiety, and it gives you little moments to catch your breath and kind of like calm down, and then rips the rug out from under you. Yeah. And it does it several times with escalating stakes as the movie goes on. You know, like when Frank decides to ram the cab through the tunnel, even though it's like clogged with bodies and cars and stuff, and you almost think he makes it, but he blows the tire out, and then you're like, okay, it's not that bad, we can fix a tire. And then the rats come, and you're like, what's chasing the rats? You know, and the tension starts building back up.
Well, I was thinking, like, are the rats infected? Can you get infected from a rat?
Historically speaking, yes. Yeah. And so it just does this, like, you have something, a fun thing will happen, and you'll kind of like go, oh yeah, shopping spree at the mall, and then you're getting chased again, and it's like, yeah, it's just
dynamic.
It plays with your emotions expertly.
Absolutely.
What didn't work for you?
Okay, so I did not love the image quality. It's bright and it's harsh and it's glaring, and I like that with regard to the lighting, but I don't like the grainy lo-fi. It made me feel like I was watching a movie from the 80s or the 70s, maybe.
I mean, a movie shot in the 80s would have been on film and would have
looked better. Yeah. So, I mean, it just looked like just dog ass. It was not a good looking movie, and it was intentional. Yeah. So there you go. Some people like that, some people don't, and I'm one of the don't.
Yeah.
I think that you do have to have a little levity in a story from time to time. I think that's you can't have pressure cooker all the time, otherwise it loses its impact.
Right.
But the moment, like when they did the shopping spree in the market or whatever, I thought that was probably enough levity for the moment. It maybe was a little too light for the tone of this movie. But then when they went and had the picnic afterwards, and then they're like playing cards and singing songs and shit,
you thought that was...
I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, is this Shaun of the Dead? Like, are we, like, what's the deal here?
Okay.
It was whiplash. It lost the tone in the middle at that point, and I was like, man, this movie started like the prologue, shit. The actual chapter 1 through chapter 3 or whatever, the first act, fucking baller.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Act 2, hard thumbs down.
Really?
And then Act 3, where they get to the military and blah blah blah, and it's like it's a plot you could say it's a tale as old as time, but you could also say it's cliche as fuck.
Yeah.
That the monsters aren't the real villains, humans are the real villains. Let's make this a sexual assault thing. That's definitely good storytelling. Fuck off. I don't need that.
Yeah.
It's just not interesting. The zombies are what's interesting in this movie, not rapey ass soldiers. There's how many movies about rapey fucking psychos out there?
Yeah.
You already set the tone for a awesome horror flick.
Right.
Why do you have to make the hard left turn into annoying human drama with sexual predators? That's so not interesting.
Yeah.
It's so not interesting. I would have turned this shit off.
Really?
Before the end. I was like, I said that to Carrie. I want to turn this off. This is so disappointing.
Yeah.
This is such a bad ending. It's like the drawing of the horse meme, where the back end is flawless, the middle is all right, and the front is like a twisted ass line drawing. It's like, holy shit, how did you fuck this up?
At the end.
You started so well and you ended like shit. This movie was great, then it was good, and now I don't even want to finish it.
Ooh.
Sucks.
Okay.
All right, so what didn't work for you?
I'm going to say the same thing in more measured tones.
Well, that is your way.
Yeah, it's to me this movie was cruising towards a 5.
Absolutely.
And I was just like, "Oh yeah, man, like this movie, I remembered it being really good." And
it was like Children of Man vibes.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
even
good.
better than it's smarter than I remembered it being, and I was just like, this movie is great. And then we get to the soldiers, and I mean I even kind of mostly get with that, and then it just sort of, I think they get the car back on the road by the end, and we get the cool conclusion. Mm-hmm. And I'm there for Jim's rampage, but the plot of that third act is so hackneyed when the movie has been so considered and so intelligent up until this point. And then we just have to believe, like, I'm even fine with, like, man is the real villain, because that is reality.
It's classic.
But it's just this thing of, like, I promised them women. When he says that, like, it just, like, it's like a fart. Like, it just does not, like, it doesn't land like a, oh my God. It lands like a, are you kidding me? And it's just like, it's just disappointing. A movie, to me, I think is just so exceptional up until this point. And then they're like, I don't know what to do here. It's a rape trap.
Yeah. And then the hero rescues the women, and then they get away.
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
He becomes better at killing people.
Yeah. He goes from a timid, shy bicycle messenger to a fucking badass.
Yeah. Well, most bicycle messengers are pretty bad.
I say they're tough, but I don't know if they have combat training. He becomes a true badass.
They are tough, but not necessarily take on a squad of soldiers tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a little bit, it's hacky. It's
so disappointing.
The movie, I think, is remarkable right up until the end, and then it's hacky, and then you have a beautiful epilogue. Mm-hmm. But that whole thing, it has some cool shots in it. Like, Don't get me wrong, him cranking the warning siren with the raindrops and everything.
Yeah,
that shit looks cool as hell. But the plot of, like, dressing them up in the lady of the house's gowns so we can ceremonially abuse them.
I was so over that. I was like, "Are you serious? You're gonna make a whole thing about this with a child?"
Yeah, and yes, you did already say this. It's not that makes it any better if they were both grown-ass women. One of them is a little girl.
Yeah, no, I'm not here to, like, grade degrees of evil.
Right.
But as far as evil people go, rapists are evil. Pedophiles, more fucking evil.
Yeah,
pedophile rapist is above and beyond regular rapists, and I think that it would be a smaller percentage of the population. And it was like, seriously, guys, really? You're all on board with this? It's a fucking kid. Any unit in the military, there's multiple dads.
Right. To me, I don't have a lot of hard, fast rules. These are capital offenses.
Absolutely.
These are just like, you're unsalvageable if you do these things.
Yes.
So anyways, the car goes off the road in the third act.
Absolutely. Shit the bed.
And it's just a bummer because I think the rest of the movie is damn near flawless. So that gives us this tough position.
Yeah.
Final thoughts and rating. I think I know where we're going to fall on this, but what do you think?
Act 1 was a 5. Act 3 was a 1. Act 2 was a 3. So it's a 3-star movie, I guess, by the law of averages.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know what else to say because it started off so fucking good. Yeah. And Cillian Murphy never sucks.
Yeah.
And Brendan Gleeson never sucks. None of the performances suck. The writing is shit.
It's a place where, and I like Alex Garland as a writer. I think he's a great writer. This is like his first film, and he didn't know how to end it.
Yeah,
and I don't think I'm going out on a limb to say that we're in accord.
He lost the plot, so I gave it a 3. Which to me means qualified recommend.
Yeah.
If you're into horror flicks, if you're a zombie movie person, whatever, watch this. But if you're just it's not an unqualified recommend. Where I think everyone would enjoy this movie.
I'm stronger. I'm a 4.
Ooh,
but I think I feel better about the second act than you do. I think the first and second act hold together.
I mean, second act was just a snooze fest.
I guess I like the snooze fest. I like them building their little family, them looking at the horses running in the field. I like the shopping spree. I like the jaunty little song when they're in the grocery store. I am with this movie right up until Doctor Who says, "I promised them women. What else was I supposed to do? Women mean a future." Do they? I don't. The plot, the plan just doesn't fucking hold water.
You couldn't just leave this fucking place and find a larger military facility, link up with, whatever.
You got a radio? Yeah.
It doesn't hold water.
It doesn't hold water.
I can't believe you gave that a 4, but it is what it is. Yeah. I accept your
accept it.
I am harsher than most of society, although they fall generally between where you and I say 7.5 on IMDb, 73 on Metacritic, but Rotten Tomatoes gives it an 87. That's a rose-tinted glasses rating because this movie predates Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that is true, but I think generally this movie was very well received. It
made a lot of money.
Yeah, proportionately. It didn't make a lot of money, but it made considerably more than its budget. Yeah.
And we've mentioned it before that low-budget horror is its own thing.
Yeah. It's low-budget horror. It literally does not matter if it is good. They always make money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a little break, and we'll come back with The Vault of Darkness.
All right.
Before we delve into the Vault of Darkness, we ask that all initiates of the cult follow us on your favorite social media platforms at Nightshade Cult.
If you've enjoyed this content, help us grow the cult by sharing it with like-minded people and leave us a review wherever you listen.
Did you have any dark tidings before we get into the vault?
No, nothing new.
I've got 2 trailers I want to highlight, and I'll put the links in the show notes. We finally got a trailer for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Ooh,
starring Oscar Isaac and Jacob Elordi as the monster. This is coming to Netflix in November. And
a direct-to-video. Is that no longer a badge of shame anymore?
I think with certain people, it's just about getting the money to get the movie done.
Okay.
And Netflix will do it, and they'll at least give him a theatrical run at the Egyptian in LA. And that will qualify him to be in the running for all the awards and everything.
Yeah.
But I hope we get an opportunity to see this on the big screen here. But if not, it'll be on Netflix in November.
Awesome.
It looks really good. Oscar Isaac looks great as Victor Frankenstein, and it's got, it looks like a classic Gothic horror. It looks very faithful to the book from what you can see. It looks very reminiscent of Bernie Wrightson's illustrations, if you've seen those. I'm looking forward to that. And with Frankenstein, there goes Dracula. And we got a trailer for Luc Besson's adaptation of Dracula. And I've been dying to talk about this because I saw an interview with Luc Besson, who is director of The Fifth Element and Leon the Professional and everything.
Great movies.
And it became clear to me that he's never read the book, and he's only seen Francis Ford Coppola's movie.
Okay.
And because
it's not even a long book.
But he said at several points in the interview, he cited things from the movie that are not from the book, and specifically called them out. He's like, as you know, he's French. He's like, as you know, in the book, Dracula can turn into a green mist, and he's he was just citing things that are not described in the book and are not specific to the book.
Yeah.
And then he drops this trailer, and he has made his remake of Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
Okay. Well, I mean, the first one was great.
Yeah, and so I'm fascinated to see this guy who cheated his book report adapt Dracula.
How do you not read the book? It's so short.
I don't know. Maybe it's not available in French.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. But it is like the guy, Caleb Landry Jones, who most recently we saw in Twin Peaks: The Return. He was one of the dirtbag boyfriends in that movie, or that limited series. Is playing Dracula, and Christoph Waltz is, I think he's playing Van Helsing, I assume. And Matilda de Angelis is playing, the Winona Ryder character, Mina Harkness. Yeah. Caleb Landry Jones shows up in England with the top hat and everything, like the way it's portrayed in the Coppola movie. And you see him in the wolf armor, like, and maybe the top hat is in the book. The wolf armor, like all the prologue of Vlad the Impaler, that is all pure Coppola. None of that is in the book.
Yeah.
But he does all of it. He does, like, I've followed you across time, like where his love died while he's in the war, and he curses God and becomes a vampire.
He used somebody else's fanfic as the basis.
Yeah. So it is portrayed as being an adaptation of the book, but it is a remake of Coppola's Dracula.
I wonder if he gets sued.
I mean, how could you?
How could you?
Yeah, I mean,
that's true.
What's proprietary about that?
That's true.
Vlad the Impaler's public domain.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
he won't get sued, but I mean, I hope it's good.
I hope it's good, or at least interesting.
Or just crap.
I am fascinated about this movie, though, because I just don't know that this has ever happened. Like, it's the classic kid thing of, like, yeah, I read the book and you watch the movie, but he's just making the movie that he watched.
Yeah,
it's wild. So, but he is a good director.
Yeah, his movies tend to be really good,
and these are good actors, and so yeah. Anyways, Dracula and Frankenstein, links in the notes. I'm really anticipating, and one I am anticipating for other reasons.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So what are you pulling out of the vault?
All right, so I've been super mega busy, but not too busy to play video games, because you gotta let off steam. And last time I talked about Red Dead 2.
Yeah, classic.
I played through Red Dead 1.
Oh, did you?
And I did it fast. I did not stop to smell the roses because I didn't enjoy the gameplay very much. It was not nearly as refined as Red Dead 2.
It's pretty raw.
It's definitely rough and ready. But the story was great, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then I was sitting there like...
So you finished a second playthrough of 2,
yeah.
And then played 1
all the way
to get
through.
John's story.
All of John's story.
Okay.
And then you actually get his son as the epilogue, just like John is the epilogue to Red Dead 2.
Okay.
So yeah, you get Jake Marston's in the epilogue. So now I need Red Dead 3 where I get to play Jake. Anyway...
hurry up, Rockstar.
Yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon. So I was just sitting there forlorn, like, what am I going to do now? Because I mean, I could do something. I could be productive, but no, I'm very productive at work. But I need something to chill, to relax my mind. And so I did some Googling and whatnot, and I decided to do something that I thought I would never do.
Oh.
I loaded up Red Dead Online.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't like MMOs very much anymore. And I don't like...
You used to play Warcraft, though.
Yeah, but that's a persistent world MMO, not like a GTA Online type deal, or like Fallout 76 does it, a server hopping where every time you log in, you're on a new server with a small population of players, and you can move servers if like you're getting griefed or whatever. Yeah. I don't tend to like that kind of MMO. I always think it's lame. It uses peer-to-peer technology, which means it's going to be worse for PvP. Okay. And so I had to approach this, and this is kind of a long screed on this game to sell you that you should play it.
Really?
You specifically should play this with me, but I think that other people should play this in general too. If you liked Red Dead 2, but you were playing it and there were moments you were irritated at the complete lack of agency, right? Like how you can't kill Micah, or you just have to do all these annoying things, and you just get trapped in annoying cutscenes. Right. But really, you wanted to live in Act 2 and 3. And maybe even 4, and you wanted to just hunt the legendary animals, right? But you wish there was more stuff to do that wasn't going and getting tuberculosis and dying. That
is a major bummer.
It is a serious bummer. So Red Dead Online does have a story mode, but you play your own original character. Okay. And it has a story mode that's not that long. It's a series of missions, and you don't have to do them sequentially. You can go around in the world and then get back to the story mode, just like in 2. And they're fun and interesting and worth doing, and they give you stuff that helps you in the game. And then at a certain point, you kind of end the story mode, and you're just in like a permanent like Red Dead world, and it's
the same map, or no?
Exact same map. And it has half of the Red Dead 1 map. It has all of New Austin, which is Texas, down there, and it's awesome. And you can go to Blackwater, the whole deal, and a bunch of places you couldn't go before, but are heavily featured in Red Dead 1. And so you might think, oh, this is okay. Well, then you're done. It's boring. There's nothing left to do. Well, maybe. If you were the type of person that played Red Dead Redemption 2 or any role-playing game like this, and all you did was back-to-back story modes and story missions until you were done, and you never did any side questing, then maybe this isn't the game for you. Right. But if you're the type that stopped to smell the roses, that stopped to fish, that went to that little island over there to see what was on it, to hunt the legendary animals, to pursue the crazy cool outfit from the trapper. If you did any of that stuff, this is the game, because it has a completely different philosophy of normal MMO games. Whereas this game wants you to chill the fuck out. It wants you to slow down and slow the pace of game. You don't get all the gear that you want and the very best horse and all of that early on. It takes a long time to get it, but that's fine. You don't need it. It's actually fun to slowly earn it. Right. But also, even at a mechanical design, when you're doing a mission, like they're called like stranger missions or free roam missions, which is like a side quest in any MMO. You are given rewards at the end in the form of cash and gold, which is the Rockstar Games money that you can buy microtransaction style. You're given that stuff, but you get more of it the longer you take on the mission. Up to a maximum of a half an hour, which is the cap. Okay. And it clicks up every 3 minutes. You get, and this is, I only know this because I read a guide online. Yeah. But I tested it, and I took a full 30 minutes because I fucked up. I went back, and then I was like, well, shit, I already been at it 25 minutes. I might as well just wait. Yeah, it gave me a huge reward. And so this game actually wants you to stop and loot the guys. Yeah. Because you're not losing time. You're actually gaining reward twice over by looting the guy and taking longer. It wants you to stop when you're riding towards your bounty target to shoot the 3-star buck and skin him and put the skin on your horse. Because it's okay to spend an extra minute and a half because you're rewarded. The game specifically wants you to chill out. This is a Western sim. And then they added elements of play that don't exist in Red Dead 2 that I think are totally worth doing.
Okay.
You don't start with any of them and you buy them in game. You buy a bounty hunter license and then you qualify. You remember that quest where you go and you hunt down the 5 legendary gunslingers?
Oh, right. Yeah.
So bounty hunter missions are like for hunting. There's regular bounties where you're hunting like regular run-of-the-mill criminals, like you would get from any bounty poster. Then there are legendary bounties, which are kind of like those cool story missions where the people are. It's a fun, fully realized and thought out quest, and it's cool. And then there are other roles like trader, which makes your camp into like a business. You start bringing in supplies, and you have a camp helper NPC, just one guy, not a whole fleet of them like Dutch's camp. And he starts making leatherwork goods, and then you sell them. So it becomes a little economic sim. I find that to be very fun because I like to hunt. There's the collector, which is you go around and you do like little archaeology things, and you find rare and exotic items like, ooh, I found a jade hairpin. This is very valuable. And since I have the collector role, I know what's valuable. You get a manual from a traveling, like a traveling fortune teller lady. She teaches you the ways.
And so there's little bits of that in the base game, right? Like where you go and you find the different pictographs or whatever.
Exactly. And this expands that whole element where you find entire collections of things. And then there's the moonshiner role, which is actually the most enjoyable role for me.
Really?
Where you're making shine, you pick all the herbs and things, and you make flavored shines, and there are customers who have standing orders and they change in time, and you're like trying to make a 1-star, a 2-star, or 3-star shine, a flavored shine with the strength weak, average, or strong, based on how good your shining equipment is. And that expansion actually had a ton of story in it. Like, so the Moonshiner story is really cool. Because it was added later. And then there's the naturalist one where you go around and this lady sells you like maps to legendary animals, and there's a bunch of them. There's like 3 or 4 per species. Like there's like different named ones. And you like are sampling different animals. She sells you like tranquilizer darts for your varmint rifle, and you go and sample things, and it's a whole type of gameplay. And there's like 5 of these roles. You can have them all over time.
And just play through those various sub-stories.
And you can do them like all, and then you can do the action of those roles like all the time as you're playing. Like I was out doing a bootlegger, a moonshiner mission, and I saw a collectible, and I picked it up, and then I saw a rare animal. I'm not a naturalist yet. I haven't unlocked that. I was like, dang, I wish I was a naturalist so I could kill it and sample it, or I could tranquilize it, sample it, then kill it, then get its hide for my trader role. So it all kind of rolls into it.
So you can do all of them simultaneously.
Yeah, you can
they're just going to progress at their
and they all level up and unlock new abilities, new bonuses, new like expansions to their role, and it all just gets more and more fun. For me, I think so. This is the anti World of Warcraft, which just wants you to go and do dungeons with people. This is really like playing a Western sim with several mini games within that I find to be extremely fucking fun.
So how are your interactions with other players? What's that like?
So I actually was not sure how that was going to go. So I watched this YouTube video. This guy, he's called PvP Cat. And he's this like Eastern European dude. And
I think I've seen some of his videos.
He's like, I'm going to see what it's like in 2025, blah, blah, blah. And he goes to 25 servers, and he logs in, and he does the most risky behaviors you can do, the things that would draw in griefers. There's one where you're doing trader missions where you can do short local deliveries where you sell your goods for a lower price, or you can do long deliveries. And if you do the long deliveries, it puts an icon on the map of a goods caravan moving across the map, and other players can see that and can come and attack you.
And you go, oh, I'm going to rob that guy.
But you get a bunch more money. And so he was doing long haul missions. He was going and standing in the middle of towns like Valentine or Saint Denis and looking AFK and so to invite someone to pot shot him. Yeah. So long story short, one person out of 25 servers legitimately jacked him and tried to keep killing him. One person shot him, then he respawned, because you respawn nearby and you can run back and fight. It's not that long, not that far away. And he fought them, and they fought back and forth a few times, and then the dude emote waved at him and left, and it was just a fun little exchange.
Yeah.
The other 23 servers, every time he ran into another player, they either ignored him completely and just did their own thing, or they waved and emoted and did all friendly things. And some people were like would come over and like dance, and other people would just wave and tip their hat and ride off.
Yeah.
It's extremely friendly. My personal experience now, I've only been griefed one time. Okay. And it didn't really annoy me because it was a thing where I did a long haul PvP, a long haul sales mission just to see. You gotta try it. And the dude came and he just would not leave me alone. And I was like, well, shit, I guess I lost this one. I guess I'm not going to get the money. Yeah. And so I used the thing and I went, okay, transfer server to a different one. It's like, oh, I'm going to free roam, blah, blah, blah. And I go to a new server and I'm back in my camp. My goods are there again for delivery. I can choose short or long haul. I'm like, okay, I didn't lose anything from that. Only a little bit of my time, but I learned something, and I'm going to do a short delivery now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've literally, and then literally I was playing yesterday, and I was doing the collector role, and I went into this little town. It's a shitty town, and it's called Thieves Landing. It's heavily featured in Red Dead 1. Okay. And there's like this junkyard, and it's surrounded by like these gang member guys, and I know there's like a thing in there I need to get. An antique liquor bottle. And so like I get off my horse outside the junkyard, I go in, and then I see another player dot on my map. I'm like, damn it. Ugh.
Someone else is going for this.
And, oh, they're coming around here. Yeah. And I think I'm about to get jacked because these are expensive. These are worth a lot of money. And the person waves at me and they like kind of like emote their horse. They have it rear up and do like a cool thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, wave. And I just go in and I get the thing. My horse is out there. I'm like, well, worst thing, they kill my horse, which is annoying, but I bought horse insurance, which is the thing.
So you get your horse
they'll
back.
Get my horse back. Yeah. And horse insurance is cheap. So whatever. And no one's ever killed my horse, by the way. Okay. So I just
horses
thought
are sacred. That's low down.
Yeah,
dirty
that was actually
behavior.
one of the things that the guy, that PvP cat said. He said, if you kill people, they'll be mostly fine with it. But if you kill their horse and don't kill them, they'll come after you forever.
For real.
I really like my horse. Yeah. So, and then when I came out, I got on my horse and I rode away, and I was like, what the fuck's on the back of my horse? I don't have any game or anything. It has like a big hide, like an elk hide or something. I was like, what the fuck? And I check. This person had because you can jump on someone else's horse and like ride off with it. Yeah. They'll get it back. They put a legendary alligator skin on my horse. They got on my horse, put a legendary alligator skin on it, and then got off and then rode their own horse away. They just gave me this really expensive item.
Just to be cool.
Just because, because I'm low level and they're high level. Okay. They're like, I'm going to help this lobby out. It was super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I do have some bad stuff.
Okay, let's hear it.
They don't do much content for this game. Okay. Because
it's old.
It's old, but they were going to wait until after GTA 6 to put out a big wave, and then GTA 6 got pushed back a year. Yeah. They did just put out a new PvP mode for it, and supposedly in the fall there's going to be a next-gen console update for 60 frames per second for Red Dead 2, which will, of course, impact Red Dead Online. And when GTA did this, you just had to pay like $10 or $20 to upgrade, and everything. Nothing changed. It just got better. So that's that. Not much content, but I don't think you need a lot of content.
Okay.
They already have so much.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is they want you to spend money. It's
real money.
Rockstar.
Yeah.
Because you can circumvent grinding. You could earn $1,000, or you could just spend some gold to buy a thing. Some things are level locked, and you can't do anything about that. You have to level up.
Okay.
But I'm sort of okay with that. They offer an introductory bundle for like $5, and they give you like a bunch of gold, some, like some clothes, whatever. And I bought it. I was like, this game's basically free already. I'm not buying Red Dead Online. I'm buying that. And so then I used that to get a good horse, because I was like, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I need a bolt action rifle and a horse. With those, I'm gold.
Yeah,
you can
make your way for everything else.
Yeah, I'll earn it all. And so you just got to know they want you to spend money. And then the other thing is, this game is only good if you savored Red Dead 2.
Okay.
If you were like, come on, next thing, this ain't it.
Yeah.
But if you never wanted to leave Shady Belle
Yeah.
or whatever, then this is a gold mine of time wasting.
Okay.
So
you get to kill Klansmen. That's always fun to find.
I haven't found the Klansmen. I mostly love to kill the Murphy boys, because fuck those guys.
I don't torture people, but in Saint Denis, there was that guy that preaches eugenics out on the street. Oh, yeah.
I could just ice him every time.
I roped him and dragged him behind my horse until dead. And it's worth the wanted level when you ride by the cops dragging this.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just like, yeah.
Yeah, I liked going up and just punching that guy and punching him, and then eventually pinning him down and slitting his throat. I mean, maybe that's too grim, but it's a cowboy world, and he's a eugenicist.
Yeah. Every once in a while, you just encounter someone that is just delightful to kill.
It's the idea that punching Nazis never gets old.
Yeah.
So that was a long-form way of saying you should play a really old online game that's basically free. But I have found a lot of fun and value in it.
Interesting.
And I will keep playing it. I'll play it after we're done podcasting today.
There's a new update for Cyberpunk coming too, and I didn't think we were getting any more.
I thought that was done, but I'm curious.
Yeah,
why can't we get like a GTA Online or Red Dead Online version of Cyberpunk? That would be cool.
Oh, Cyberpunk Online?
Yeah.
That would be filled with dildos killing you.
That would be so bad. It would be toxic as hell.
Yeah.
So shooting sniper rifles around corners, you never saw them. You just die.
Yeah, see, and that's, I have a lot of preconceived. I've never really played any online games where you're playing with other people, or very few at least. And I've seen plenty of like TikTok and YouTube videos of people just fucking with people in Red Dead Online.
Yeah.
And every time I see that, and I go, I don't need this in my life, like someone roping you and dragging you around town.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like that is endemic.
The one guy that decided it was time to fuck with me, the low level guy, he like shot at me a couple times and then rode up and roped me off my horse, pulled me, hogtied me, and then there's a button you can do give up, and so you just die and respawn nearby. And then there's a button parlay. Oh. And if you parlay, it means
give him something.
No, you don't even give him something. It just means you can't attack him and he can't attack you.
Really?
I think it's for like 5 minutes. It's like basically like, okay, you win. We don't fight anymore because you beat me. And so like I instantly, as soon as you roped me, because he had the bounty hunter reinforced lasso, which means you can't just equip your knife and instantly cut yourself out. Which is a thing in Red Dead 2 as well. And I was like, oh, he's got me good. And so I was like, give up, parlay, different server, just that fast, and I was free of that.
And you just respawn at your camp, and
you just respawn near where you were, but you don't have to. That's if you choose the free roam respawn. Mm-hmm. You can also choose camp respawn. Okay. I chose free roam because I wanted to be near
where you were.
Yeah, I was in Blackwater, so I wanted to be near Blackwater.
Interesting.
Anyway,
it definitely seems worth checking out.
Yeah, it's worth it if you like Red Dead 2, which is probably in my top 3 video games. It's just really good.
It's super good.
So what do you got? What are you pulling out of the vault?
Let's rewind back to what we were talking about. The core of this episode. Danny Boyle's 28 Days Later. Danny Boyle, I said this already, I'm going to say it again, directed one of my favorite movies of all time. That's Trainspotting, 1996. Described as a British black comedy. It is based on the book by the same name by Scottish author Irvin Welsh. Foundational movie for me. This came out the year I graduated from high school. I've seen the movie infinity times. It has defined what I think is cool for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
I love this movie. It has a sequel, which is loosely based on it's based on Irvin Welsh's book Porno, but it takes some liberties from it, and that's called T2, cheekily, Trainspotting 2, where the whole cast comes back for that, as you know, they're young men in the first movie, and they're grown ass adults in the second movie.
Okay,
but still kind of dirtbags. And there is Irvin Welsh wrote a whole series of books about these characters, and they're written in Scottish dialect, which it takes a bit to get used to, but once you kind of lock in with Scottish, it is a cousin to English, and you can understand it. There's a glossary if you need help. I've read all of those books.
Wow.
And or listened to the audiobooks, which are also in Scottish, obviously.
I think if it's in a dialect like that, listening is better, so you get the real pronunciation.
Yeah, and you get just it's Scottish and Irish. There's just a lyrical way to how they speak, and I really like it, and I love this motley crew of dirtbags that are in these books and these 2 movies.
Yeah.
So I recommend the whole lot of it. But if nothing else, Irvin Welsh's Danny Boyle's movie Trainspotting. But I say if you like the movie, read the books, watch the sequel, consume it all, speak with a Scottish accent for a week afterwards, and just dig into this world of junkies and dirtbags, because it's a lot of fun to me.
For sure.
And the soundtracks are good too. Listen to the music. Great post-punk and dance music and stuff on the soundtracks.
Absolutely. I second that. Watch Trainspotting. I should rewatch that. It's a really good movie.
Yeah. Just super cool, and it was really sort of redefined British cinema at the time. Danny Boyle, there was this thing, Cool Britannia, like Britain was the coolest place for music and art in the late 90s, but cinema not so much. Like there was this sort of idea that British cinema was very stodgy, and Danny Boyle, Guy Ritchie, like there's this wave of kind of maverick British filmmakers that made really cool films at that time. And they were hugely influential, and these guys went on to be very mainstream filmmakers. But in the late 90s, they were still very punk rock and raw filmmakers.
Yeah, it was a good era for film, especially from Britain.
All right.
We'd like to thank you for joining the Nightshade Cult.
Until we meet again, we're wishing you unpleasant dreams.